Hi everyone, and welcome to Jane Talks Trek, where I'll be talking about and reviewing an episode of the original series, The Next Generation, Voyager, Deep Space Nine, or Enterprise. Today I'm looking at Far Beyond the Stars, from Deep Space Nine's 6th season, or as I like to call it that time, DS9 could have been a dream. This episode was requested by Donald Camp. Thank you for the suggestion, and let's get going. We begin the episode with Kira saying there were no survivors aboard a ship Sisko knew the captain of, and he gets a visit from his dad, who's not been into space before. Sisko is feeling like he's at his limit and is thinking of stepping down. Odo? You oversleep and forget to go to makeup this morning? No one else seems to have seen him, and Sisko warns his gal pal not to take any risks with her ship. Damn it, Worf, you too? Sisko follows the guy into New York and gets hit by a cab, only to wake up in sickbay. But also, not really, because he's in New York again talking to Nog. Wait, Benny and Albert? No, I'm not going to be able to remember a second set of names. And into the credits we go. Kira, Bashir and Quark hang out, with Quark arguing with Odo, and they all work together on a sci-fi magazine called Incredible Tales. The illustrator comes in, who we've seen before as Seven of Nine's mentor in Tsunkatse, and presents a drawing of Deep Space Nine, which Sisko is interested in. Next issue will run a photo of them all, except Kira and Sisko won't feature because of their gender and race, and they get into a debate over it. Later, Sisko gets hassled by the police, including Jeffrey Combs, and they complain about how the neighborhood is slipping. Grandpa Sisko is preaching, and Sisko gets home. Wow, this picture is wonky. And careful, Indiana Jones might be in that fridge. And he murder she wrote a story that reflects back at him. Sisko goes to see his gal pal, who wants them to buy the diner, seeing as he's not making money off of writing, and Worf comes in to try and get between them, but it doesn't work. Jake, and his interesting fashion sense, comes in to try to peddle his shit, and mocks Sisko's story, but new Secretary Dax loves it. In fact, everyone does, but Odo shits on the party because no one will publish a story with a black lead, which causes a big fight, and he wants to run O'Brien's story instead. Dejected, Sisko goes back to the diner, where Jake says I told you so, and he's jump scared by Worf, so runs away, only to bump into the preacher. He rants nonsense, so Sisko goes home and sleeps through his date with his gal pal, but she insists they dance before she goes home. And is that the time warp? Because Sisko is all over the place. Odo is pissed that Sisko keeps writing his stories, so O'Brien suggests he write it in the form of a dream in order for them to be published. And he tries to tell Jake, who's in a rush, and Worf is still trying to hit on Cassie, who's excited for Sisko's success. They go to a club to celebrate, but here's the preacher again with more cryptic shit, and holy crap, these cops shot and killed Jake. And then they beat up Sisko, who doesn't leave his apartment for several weeks. He finally goes back to the office, where O'Brien says he sold a novel, and Odo returns saying the publisher scrapped the whole issue because of the content. And Sisko freaks out, getting himself fired, and takes it out on the desk. He goes on a panic rant, saying his stories are real in his head and nothing can destroy that, and the stress gets him taken away on a stretcher. The preacher babbles at him again.
You are the dreamer, and the dream.
Okay, who let Final Fantasy X into this episode of Deep Space Nine? Damn, now I want to go play Final Fantasy X. Be right back. Sisko wakes up in sickbay with his brainwaves back to normal, and he decides to stick with being captain, but wonders if this reality is actually the dream.
That's a scary thought.
That was an interesting one. I think because I've not seen past the first season, except for the episodes I've covered on the channel, I'm probably missing the impact of certain things. I don't know the significance of Cassie or whatever her name is. I'm not familiar with what characters the two cops and the illustrator usually play, and I'm not up to speed with the war that's currently going on. Having said that, it's an interesting story which gives me vibes of the Quantum Leap episode The Color of Truth, which was set in the same time period and tackled the topic of racism. Avery Brooks gave a really good performance, especially when he broke down near the end. And it's unusual to see racism in Star Trek, aside from a few isolated episodes, because it's so progressive, so it was a good way to tackle the issue. It was fun seeing all the characters without all their makeup and prosthetics, and Worf sounded completely different, so it was hard to recognize him at first. It really does show the transformative power of makeup, and I like how they were able to tell such a powerful story. However, I'm not a fan of the is it real, is it a dream thing. That theme kind of annoys me. So there you have it. That was Far Beyond the Stars. If there's an episode of Star Trek you'd like me to cover, pop it down in the comments below or come say hi on social media. If you enjoyed this video, then please hit that like button, it really does mean a lot, or consider subscribing if you want to be assimilated into my channel. Alternatively, feel free to check out my other YouTube channels. Thank you so much for watching, I'll speak to you soon, and live long and prosper.